The sky of Virelia burned with a strange green glow, a silent herald of despair. From orbit, the city looked like a fallen jewel, its towers fractured, its streets littered with remnants of a civilization that once thrived. Yet amid the ruin, the faint hum of life clung stubbornly to the planet. Control. "Do you read me?" A trembling voice crackled over the comm channel. Commander Lyra Sunfall pressed the receiver to her ear, heart hammering. She was human, one of the first dispatched to this region after the so-called Zenari exodus, the aliens who had abandoned Virelia decades ago. But nothing sounded back. Only silence. Lyra's eyes scanned the horizon where metallic spires jutted at odd angles, shadows twisting unnaturally. She thought she saw movement, but it could have been the wind, or the ghosts of Virelia's people long gone. Her team moved cautiously, boots crunching on the glass-like ash that coated the streets. "Keep your eyes open," she whispered to her squad. "There's no telling what or who remains." The Zenari had been legends, a galactic species revered for their intelligence and feared for their cold pragmatism. They had built cities that defied gravity, engines that bent time, and weapons that could vaporize worlds. And then, inexplicably, they vanished, leaving Virelia to crumble. "Why would they leave?" muttered Ryan Kale, Lyra's second-in-command. His gaze swept over the skeletal city. No warning. No evacuation, nothing. Lyra didn't answer. She could feel it, the unease crawling along her spine. She had read the history logs, seen the archival footage of Virelia before the Zenari left. Vibrant streets, laughter, music, and now, ash and silence. Suddenly, a faint pulse flickered across her visor HUD, an energy signature, almost human in its pattern, but unstable. "Command, we have movement," Lyra reported, voice steady despite her racing heart. "I'm not sure if it's alive." The squad froze. Ahead, in the center of what had once been the Grand Plaza, a figure stumbled forward. It was small, hunched, with skin like cracked obsidian. Its eyes glowed faintly, reflecting fear and confusion. Lyra stepped forward, lowering her weapon. "We come in peace," she said softly. "Do you need help?" The creature froze, tilting its head. Then it emitted a sound, low and melodic, unlike any human language. But in some strange way, Lyra understood the desperation, the plea to survive. "Ryan." "It's alone," she whispered. "They left. Everyone else." The small alien raised one trembling hand, pointing toward a massive, collapsed building. Lyra's stomach dropped. The structure, once the heart of Virelia's culture, seemed to pulse faintly with energy, an echo of something vital. "Lyra." Ryan's voice shook. "Do you feel that?" A shiver ran through the squad. The air vibrated almost imperceptibly. The ruins weren't just abandoned, they were alive. Not with life, but with memory. Every corner, every fracture seemed to hum with the ghost of the Zenari's departure. The alien's voice rose in a series of broken tones, urgent, warning. Lyra didn't understand the words, but she understood the meaning. Danger. Something terrible had been left behind, and as if on cue, a shadow detached itself from the broken spires above. A towering figure, metal fused with flesh, its eyes burning with cold calculation. Lyra's squad raised their weapons. The alien stepped forward, placing itself between them and the shadow. Its small form trembled, yet it stood. The shadow paused, scanning the square, then let out a mechanical hiss. Lyra's heart skipped. This wasn't a Zenari. It was something they had left behind. Something meant to hunt. The alien turned to Lyra, eyes pleading. Lyra knew then. The story of Virelia wasn't over. And if humanity wanted to help, they had just walked straight into the heart of the danger the Zenari had abandoned. A single thought anchored her. "We didn't come here to retreat." The shadow advanced, and the alien whispered something in a language that had been silent for centuries. But Lyra's mind translated it instantly. "Help us, before the war begins again." The words lingered as the first strike fell. The shadow moved with impossible speed, a living nightmare of metal and sinew. Its eyes, burning like molten gold, swept across the ruined plaza. Lyra Sunfall's heart hammered. Her squad fired, but the shots ricocheted harmlessly off its body. The air vibrated with the machine's advance, each step sending tiny tremors through the ash-covered ground. "Fall back! Fall back!" Ryan Kale shouted, dragging a panicked soldier behind a fractured wall. But Lyra didn't move. She had noticed something subtle, something the others hadn't. The small alien that had led them here, trembling yet defiant, was holding its hand toward the shadow. It was not running, it was communicating. Wait, Lyra ordered, lowering her weapon slightly. Ryan, don't shoot. Are you insane? Ryan snapped. That thing will rip us apart. Lyra ignored him. She stepped closer, voice calm but firm. I need to understand it. We can't just fight blindly. The shadow halted mid-step. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The small alien tilted its head. Then a wave of energy surged between it and the shadow. Lyra's visor flashed warnings, unknown readings, unstable and wild. And then, as suddenly as it had come, the shadow retreated, vanishing into the skeletal ruins above. The squad exhaled in relief, but the alien's glow dimmed, eyes sinking into sorrow. Lyra felt a pang of guilt. This creature had been defending something humanity hadn't yet grasped. What is it trying to tell us? Lyra murmured, kneeling to the alien's level. The alien made a sound, soft, almost musical, and then pointed toward the remains of the central library. Lyra understood the implication. The Zenari had left a secret behind, a knowledge or weapon they did not want the planet to wield, and this small survivor was the Guardian. Let's move, she said, glancing at her squad. Slowly, and keep your eyes open. The team advanced cautiously. Each step through the ruins felt like walking through a memory, fragments of a lost civilization echoing in the ash. Massive holographic maps flickered faintly in broken panels, showing star systems that humans had never charted. The alien paused, scanning each one, then traced a trembling finger to a distant, unmarked sector. Lyra crouched beside it. You want us to go there? The alien nodded, though its eyes brimmed with fear. Fear not just for itself, but for the entire planet, perhaps even the galaxy. Why? Lyra asked. Why leave all this behind? Why abandon Virelia? The alien's reply was almost human in tone. It whispered a single word, broken but piercing. War. Lyra felt a chill. The Zenari hadn't left because they were merciful. They had left to protect something. Or perhaps to ensure something terrible would not follow. A sudden tremor shook the plaza. Dust fell like rain. Lyra's HUD registered multiple energy spikes converging on their location. Ambush, Ryan shouted, weapon raised. They're coming back! The squad scattered as a horde of shattered constructs, lesser versions of the shadow they had seen, emerged from the ruins. They moved like a swarm, mechanical limbs slicing through the air, but the small alien leapt forward, placing itself between humanity and the swarm, sending out a blinding pulse of energy. The constructs faltered, confused, but did not retreat. Lyra yelled, Ryan! Get the squad through the library. I'll hold them. No. We stay together. Ryan protested. Go. Lyra snapped. There was no time to argue. Her hands found the alien's trembling ones, and she drew on the strange energy that coursed through it. A warmth flooded her body. A connection she could not explain. Strength, clarity, and a sharp awareness of the construct's weaknesses. The first construct lunged. Lyra struck it with a pulse of energy from her hands, shattering it into shards. Another came, faster. The alien beside her emitted a high-pitched tone, and the construct convulsed, then collapsed. She realized the truth. Humanity had never faced a threat like this, but here, something inside her, the instinct to protect, to endure, was giving them an edge. But then she noticed the alien's glow dimming further, as if its life was draining. Lyra's chest tightened. They were a key to stopping the constructs, but at what cost? Behind them, Ryan's voice echoed from the library entrance. Hurry! The doors won't hold forever. Lyra turned to the alien. Its eyes locked onto hers, unspoken words passing between them. Trust humans. Survive together. Warn them. A massive explosion rocked the plaza, and the remaining constructs surged forward. Lyra braced herself, energy flaring in her hands. The world narrowed to a single thought. We cannot fail. Not here. Not now. Humanity cannot fail what the Zenari left behind. And as they ran toward the library, Lyra had a sudden, terrifying realization. The constructs weren't just defending Virelia. They were guarding something far larger. Something that, if unleashed, could ignite a war humanity was only beginning to understand. The doors of the library loomed ahead. Lyra glanced back. The alien staggered, exhausted but still moving. Almost there, almost, she whispered. Then the ground beneath them cracked with unnatural force, and the largest construct, bigger than anything she had imagined, emerged from the shadows. Its gaze locked onto them, unblinking, unyielding. Lyra's voice rose over the roar. "Run! And don't look back." The first step inside the library would decide everything. The doors of the central library shuddered under the assault of the colossal construct. Lyra Sunfall planted her feet, hands glowing with borrowed energy from the trembling alien beside her. Each pulse of her force caused sparks to fly from the creature's metal limbs, but the construct advanced, relentless. "Get them open," Lyra shouted to her squad, her voice barely audible over the grinding metal. Ryan and 2 soldiers leapt to the massive, fractured doors, prying at the warped panels. Every second counted. Behind them, the small alien hissed in pain, its glow fading further. Lyra realized then that the energy sustaining it and their connection was weakening. She clenched her teeth. They could not fail now. Not when the library held the secrets of an entire civilization, perhaps the galaxy. With a final groan, the doors gave way. The squad tumbled inside. Dust and faintly glowing motes filled the air, dancing in the pale light of fractured hollow panels. The library was enormous, a cathedral of knowledge with shelves that rose like mountains. Holographic scrolls floated mid-air, flickering with fragmented Zenari data. Lyra pulled the alien inside, shielding it with her body. The construct smashed into the doorway, sending a shockwave through the hall. The library trembled, but the structure held. We made it. But for how long? Ryan gasped, eyes scanning the room. Lyra crouched beside the alien, feeling the steady but fading pulse of its energy. Its hands rested weakly in hers. "You have to show me," she said, voice soft yet urgent. "What did the Zenari leave here? What were they hiding?" The alien's eyes flickered, focusing on a central platform at the heart of the library. A single pedestal rose above the rubble, etched with strange runes. It hummed with an energy Lyra felt deep in her chest, as if it resonated with life itself. The alien dragged itself forward, each movement agonizing. Lyra followed, holding its small, fragile form. "Almost there," she whispered. "We'll get you through this." As the alien reached the pedestal, it placed one trembling hand upon the runes. The pedestal responded instantly, erupting in light. Holographic images swirled above it, star systems, ships, and something Lyra could barely comprehend. An intricate network of galactic colonies, some marked in red, others in blue, and a few entirely blacked out. "It's a map," Lyra breathed. "But of what?" The alien emitted a series of high-pitched tones. Lyra understood the meaning without words. The Zenari left a weapon, or a warning, something that could tip the balance of the entire galaxy, and they abandoned Virelia to protect it, or to bury it forever. Rian stepped closer, eyes wide. "If that's a weapon, why leave it? Why not destroy it?" Lyra shook her head. "Because they couldn't, and maybe they trusted the wrong species." Her gaze fell on the alien. It was more than a survivor. It was a guardian, the final protector. Suddenly, the library trembled violently. Dust and debris rained down. The constructs outside had returned, multiplied by the collapse of the doors. One of them smashed through a side wall, revealing dozens more converging toward the library. Lyra grabbed the alien. "We can't stay here. Whatever they left, we have to move it somewhere safe." The alien's voice, musical pleading, cut through the chaos. Lyra understood clearly for the first time. The weapon or knowledge they guarded wasn't meant for destruction. It was meant for survival, and now the constructs were trying to ensure it never left Virelia. "Then we carry it," Lyra said firmly. "We carry it or we die trying." Ryan hesitated. "Lyra, do you know what you're saying? This isn't just Virelia. This could start a war the galaxy isn't ready for." Lyra's eyes burned. "Exactly. And if we don't act, it will happen anyway." The Zenari left it behind. They abandoned a civilization to prevent it. But humanity? We don't abandon, we fight. We protect. The alien placed both hands on her chest, and a surge of energy passed between them. Lyra gasped as images flashed in her mind. Starships burning, colonies destroyed, lives lost. She saw the Zenari fleeing from an unseen enemy, leaving behind not just Virelia but countless worlds vulnerable. And then she saw something else. A path. A way to prevent the coming destruction, but only if they survived the constructs. Lyra stood, determination burning in her eyes. Ryan squad, prepare for extraction. We carry this map, this knowledge, whatever it is, and we leave Virelia behind if we have to. The alien's glow brightened faintly, a sign of trust. It had chosen humanity. From the shattered doorway, the largest construct emerged, more terrifying than before, its eyes locked on the pedestal. It understood the alien's choice. It understood the threat humanity now posed to the Zenari's plan. Lyra tightened her grip on the alien. Get ready. This is only the beginning. The construct's metallic roar echoed through the library. The fight was far from over. And as the dust swirled around them, Lyra realized that Virelia's abandoned legacy had just become humanity's first step into a war the galaxy had almost forgotten. But the humans would not run. This time, they would not fail. The construct loomed like a nightmare brought to life, metal claws scraping the library floor. Its eyes glowed hotter, scanning for the pedestal, for the alien, for the humans who dared to interfere. Lyra Sunfall gritted her teeth, gripping the alien's frail form. Every heartbeat echoed with urgency. Ryan, take the rear. Suppress them, she ordered. Her voice was calm, but inside, adrenaline surged like wildfire. Ryan obeyed immediately, deploying energy barriers and firing plasma rounds that ricocheted off the construct's armor. Sparks flew, and one impact sent a wall of debris tumbling. But still, the construct advanced. We can't outrun it forever, Lyra muttered, scanning the library for an escape route. Her eyes caught sight of a collapsed side corridor, faintly illuminated by emergency lights. There, she shouted. This way. The squad scrambled, hauling the alien toward the corridor. The pedestal hummed faintly, almost as if protesting their movement. Lyra felt the alien pulse weakly in her arms, its life force ebbing. But something within it remained stubborn, determined. As they ran, Lyra noticed something unsettling. The constructs weren't just attacking, they were learning. Every maneuver she and Ryan made, every shot fired, seemed anticipated. The Zenari had designed them to adapt, to think. Humanity's ingenuity and unpredict might be the only edge they had, but could it last? Lyra, Ryan gasped, ducking under a falling beam. We can't keep this up. We need a plan. Lyra's mind raced. The pedestal had shown her glimpses of the Zenari's network, a hidden path through the ruins leading to an orbital launch facility. If they could reach it, they might escape Virelia, but the constructs weren't about to let them leave alive. The corridor ended at a shattered observation deck. Beyond, the city sprawled like a scar on the planet, but Lyra's eyes fell on a freighter, partially buried under rubble yet seemingly intact. That's it, she said, pointing. The ship. We take it or we die here. The alien, though weak, struggled to nod. Lyra felt a surge of connection, an unspoken agreement. Survival wasn't just about them. It was about the future of countless worlds. The squad sprinted across the observation deck, dodging debris and energy blasts from the pursuing construct. Lyra could hear it behind them, its mechanical steps echoing like a death knell. Almost there, she shouted. As they reached the freighter, Lyra tore open the access hatch. The alien was placed gently inside, energy fading but still glowing faintly. Lyra turned to the squad. Get inside now. Ryan and the others scrambled in, weapons still firing. Lyra slammed the hatch shut just as the construct crashed into the deck, shaking the vessel violently. The freighter groaned but held. Lyra's hands danced over the controls, her mind coordinating with the alien's fading energy. The engines roared to life, sending a shockwave through the ruins. The construct slammed against the hull, metal screeching, sparks flying. Hold on, Lyra yelled, strapping herself in. The freighter lifted off, shaking violently as the construct lashed out. Its metal claws scraped the underside of the ship, tearing chunks away. But the human pilots had something the constructs didn't: imagination, courage, and the ability to adapt mid-flight. Lyra's hands moved instinctively, using evasive maneuvers the Zenari could not have anticipated. Outside, Virelia's green sky swirled with ash and ruin. Lyra stole a glance at the alien beside her. Its glow flickered, dim but steady. She whispered, "You're safe now." Almost. The squad's voices filled the cabin, fear, exhilaration, determination. But Lyra noticed subtle changes in their tone, anxiety gnawing at the edges, doubts creeping in. They were humans, untested against a perfection the Zenari had left behind. Could they survive long enough to deliver the knowledge, to prevent the coming catastrophe? Suddenly, the freighter jolted violently, Alarms blared. Lyra's visor flashed warnings. Energy spikes converging from multiple points on the planet's surface. "They're calling reinforcements," Ryan shouted. Lyra's jaw tightened. "We're not just escaping constructs. We're escaping a planet designed to kill us." The freighter weaved through the ruins, dodging massive metallic debris and energy strikes. Lyra's hands ached, sweat stinging her eyes, but she pressed on. Every instinct, every decision counted. Then, just as they cleared the atmosphere, a shadow fell across the freighter. Lyra looked up. Another construct, far larger than the first, dropped from orbit, its form eclipsing the dying sun. A massive explosion rocked the freighter. Lyra's visor flashed warnings. Critical hull damage. Alarms screamed and fire began to spread. Ryan struggled to maintain control of the guns. The alien moaned, weak but glowing faintly brighter, as if urging them forward. Lyra gritted her teeth. "We're not dying here, not now. Not like this." She activated the freighter's emergency jump drive, the engines flaring. Space folded around them in a brilliant arc of light and force. When they emerged, the patrol ships were gone, but so was the freighter's stability. Systems flickered. Alarms continued, and the alien collapsed into her arms, glowing faintly, exhausted beyond anything she had ever witnessed. Lyra looked down at it, chest tight. "You trusted us. We won't forget. We will see this through." The alien's eyes fluttered, a whisper in Lyra's mind. "Forward. Survive. Save them." Lyra turned to Ryan. "The black systems. That's our path. That's our purpose. Every red system already lost. Every blue system in danger. We can stabilize this. We can save the galaxy. But we have to keep going." Ryan swallowed hard, fear and determination battling in his gaze. "Then we go. Together. No matter what." The alien weakly reached toward the freighter's controls, energy flickering into the navigation system. Lyra felt the map come alive under her fingertips, the black systems glowing brighter, a faint pulse guiding them like a heartbeat. Lyra clenched her jaw, a silent vow forming in her mind. Humanity will not abandon hope. Humanity will fight where the Zenari failed. Humanity will endure, and somewhere deep in the darkness of space, the first signs of a galaxy-wide conflict began to stir, an interstellar war humanity had stepped into by choice, courage and the trust of a fragile alien who believed in them. Lyra exhaled, hands steady once more. "Hold on," she whispered. "This is just the beginning." The black systems loomed ahead like dark jewels scattered across the void, silent yet brimming with potential. Lyra Sunfall's freighter limped through space, systems sparking, shields weakened, but the alien's energy still pulsed faintly, a guiding heartbeat in the cold expanse. Ryan Cale scanned the map, jaw tight. "Lyra, the constructs aren't just following us. They're converging on all the black systems at once. If we don't act fast..." His voice trailed off. Lyra didn't need him to finish. She knew the stakes. Every moment wasted meant colonies lost, lives erased, and the Zenari's abandoned war unleashed upon the galaxy. The alien, though weak, raised its head. Its glow surged in a rhythm that mirrored Lyra's pulse, feeding her clarity, focus, and courage. She realized then that it had become more than a guide. It had become the spark of human ingenuity, trusting them to finish what had started. "Ryan," she said, voice calm but resolute, "we don't wait for permission. We strike, we stabilize the black systems. We turn their chaos into order. Humanity survives by acting, not by hesitating." Ryan nodded, determination hardening his features. "Then let's do it." The freighter surged forward. Lyra coordinated jumps through multiple black systems, each one pulsing with unstable energy left behind by the Zenari. The constructs, relentless and precise, followed at every step, but humanity's unpredictable ingenuity and sheer courage gave them the edge. Lyra navigated through collapsing space currents, enemy ambushes, and zones of intense radiation that would have destroyed a Zenari vessel without thought. At each system, the alien's energy flared, stabilizing the unstable nodes. Weaving human intuition with ancient Zenari technology, Lyra felt its life force waver with each pulse, but it never faltered. Humanity and the alien were now inseparable, two forces united by a shared purpose, survival and hope. "Almost there," Lyra whispered as the last black system came into view. The constructs swarmed, more aggressive than ever, their attacks coordinated with lethal precision. Ryan's hands flew over the guns.
I can't keep them all off.
Lyra's mind raced. She remembered the library, the maps, the Zenari's warnings. A strategy formed, a gambit no Zenari would have expected. She triggered a sequence using the alien's energy to amplify the freighter's signal, creating a massive pulse that mimicked the construct's control signals. The constructs hesitated, confused, as if the freighter itself had become part of their network. Then, one by one, they paused, faltered, and began to retreat, the pulse rewiring them, overriding their aggression just enough to give humanity the upper hand. Ryan's jaw dropped. You did it." Lyra shook her head, glancing at the alien. Its glow was faint now, almost imperceptible. "We did it together," she said softly. "You guided us. You trusted us. Humanity just followed through." The last black system stabilized. Its energy pulses harmonized, spreading through the galaxy, neutralizing the construct's swarm and restoring balance where chaos had reigned. Lyra realized that this was what the Zenari had intended, but they lacked the courage, the persistence, the heart that humans possessed. And then, silence fell. The constructs had vanished. The patrols withdrew. The galaxy, for the first time in centuries, was still. Lyra knelt beside the alien, feeling the fading warmth of its life. "You've done everything. You can rest now." The alien's glow flared one final time, brighter than ever, before dimming into a gentle flicker. Its voice, melodic and weak, whispered in her mind, "Humanity carries hope. Where Zenari feared, you endure." Lyra's chest tightened. Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. Humanity had stepped into a war they didn't start, faced horrors beyond imagination, and yet emerged not just alive, but triumphant. Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder. "They left us a war, and we won it." Lyra shook her head, resolute. "No, we didn't win a war. We earned a future. The Zenari abandoned hope, but we didn't. Humanity survives. Humanity protects. Humanity endures." The freighter drifted through the black system, stars glittering above like witnesses to a moment the galaxy would never forget. Lyra gazed out at the cosmos, at the countless worlds now given a chance to thrive because humans chose to act when others had fled. Somewhere deep in the void, echoes of the Zenari's legacy lingered, but they were no longer the masters of fate. Humanity had taken the torch, imperfect but unyielding, carrying light into a galaxy that had long forgotten what hope looked like. Lyra's voice was soft but strong, a promise to the stars themselves. "We will not abandon anyone. We will not turn away from the impossible. We are humanity, and wherever there is darkness, we will bring light." The freighter continued its journey, carrying humans, the memory of a sacrificed alien, and the spark of courage that would inspire generations. Across the galaxy, civilization stirred, unaware yet of the heroes who had defended their futures. And Lyra knew deep in her heart that this was only the beginning. Humanity had stepped in where others failed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The alien in her arms gasped weakly, energy flickering. Lyra met its gaze. In that instant, she understood fully. This was no ordinary fight. Humanity had stepped into a war the Zenari had abandoned centuries ago, and the galaxy would never forgive hesitation. "Ryan," she said, voice resolute, "we survive. We deliver. No matter the cost." The freighter surged forward, engines blazing, plunging toward the unknown of space. Lyra's chest tightened with anticipation and fear. The constructs would follow. The knowledge of Virelia's past would be a beacon and a target, and somewhere, deep in the darkness of space, the first whispers of war began to stir. The freighter drifted through the void, engines humming like a heartbeat against the silent backdrop of stars. Inside, Lyra Sunfall stared at the alien curled beside her in the medical bay, its glow weak but steady. Its life was tethered to a secret humanity could barely comprehend. She touched its arm gently. "You're going to make it," she whispered, though even she wasn't entirely sure. Ryan Kale paced the cabin, restless. "Lyra, we can't keep running. We have the alien, the map, whatever the Zenari left, but we don't even know what it's pointing to. If we jump into their history blind, we could be walking into a trap." Lyra didn't respond immediately. Her mind replayed the images from the central library, the network of star systems, the colonies marked in red and black, and the pulsing energy signatures she couldn't fully identify. The Zenari hadn't left Virelia for nothing. There was a reason. They left this for someone to find, she said finally, voice firm. And I think that someone is us. Rian stopped pacing, staring at her. Us, humanity? Lyra, we're barely keeping up with Virelia. We're up against constructs designed to kill everything. And now we're supposed to be the galaxy's saviors? Lyra met his gaze. We don't have a choice. The Zenari abandoned their own civilization to prevent a greater disaster. If we fail, that disaster comes to life, and Rian, we can't fail. The alien stirred weakly, emitting soft tones that Lyra's mind translated through the strange connection they shared. Trust. Survive. Choose. Lyra's chest tightened. The Zenari had created more than a weapon or a map. They had created a test, and humanity had just accepted it. Hours passed as the freighter jumped through empty space. Lyra and Rian studied the holographic projections the alien helped stabilize, each star system marked with Zenari runes and energy nodes. It became clear, the red systems were already compromised, destroyed, or under attack. The blue were survivors, isolated and weak, and the black systems, silent, hidden, but crucial, were the key to preventing a galactic catastrophe. Look at this, Lyra said, pointing. The energy patterns. The constructs were only a part of it. The Zenari left something bigger, something dangerous enough to erase civilizations, and Virelia was the epicenter. Ryan's jaw tightened. So we're supposed to go to these black systems and… Do what? Activate it? Destroy it? Become the galaxy's police? Lyra shook her head. I don't know yet, but whatever it is, it can't fall into the wrong hands. And I think the Zenari knew it wouldn't. They left us. Hope. A sudden alarm cut through their thoughts. Lyra's visor blinked red, an incoming signal from a Zenari outpost long thought abandoned. The voice was distorted, mechanical, but unmistakably Zenari. Unauthorized vessel, you carry the future of Virelia. Cease or be terminated. Lyra's fingers tightened on the console. They're still out there. They're watching, judging, maybe testing us. And if they decide we fail? She didn't finish. The implication was clear. Failure wasn't an option. The alien shivered, and Lyra realized the cost of trust, the fragile bridge between human will and Zenari design. We have to keep going, she said softly. No matter what they throw at us, no matter what we discover, we survive and we protect the knowledge. Ryan's voice softened. You really believe we can do this? Lyra met his eyes. I know we can. Humanity survives against impossible odds. We adapt, we endure, we fight. The Zenari may have been brilliant, but they lacked one thing. They didn't have us. The alien's glow pulsed faintly as if acknowledging her words. Lyra felt a surge of determination she hadn't felt before. Humanity wasn't just stepping into a war the galaxy had almost forgotten. They were shaping its outcome. But the freighter trembled again. Sensors picked up multiple incoming objects. Small, fast ships, likely Zenari patrols. The alien's pulse accelerated. Lyra realized they had been detected. We're not just explorers, she said, voice firm. We're warriors now. And every choice from here on will decide not just our survival, but the fate of countless worlds. Ryan swallowed hard. Then let's make sure humanity proves itself. Lyra nodded, turning back to the alien. You trust us, right? The alien's glow brightened slightly. One word echoed in her mind, clear despite the pain and exhaustion. Yes. And in that moment, Lyra understood fully. The Zenari hadn't abandoned hope. They had abandoned themselves. And humanity, imperfect, untested, fearless, was the spark that could ignite a future the galaxy had never imagined. But deep in the shadows of the void, unseen consequences stirred. Constructs, patrols, and remnants of Zenari technology moved silently, ready to test the humans further. Every decision from here on out could tip the delicate balance between survival and annihilation. Lyra took a deep breath. Then we move forward. Always forward. The freighter surged into the darkness, carrying humanity's courage, the alien's legacy, and the weight of a galaxy waiting to see if its new protectors were worthy. The freighter cut through the inky darkness of space, stars streaking past like shards of glass. Lyra Sunfall sat at the helm, hands steady, eyes scanning the readouts, but inside her chest a storm raged. The alien beside her was weaker now, its glow fading with each passing minute. Its pulse, once a rhythmic beacon, was uneven, faltering. Rhea and Kale leaned against the wall, arms crossed, jaw tight. We can't outrun them forever. Zenari patrols constructs, traps, they'll find us. And what then? We have no reinforcements, no backup. Just us. Lyra didn't respond immediately. She felt the alien tremble beside her, and instinctively she placed her hand over its small, fragile one. A surge of energy pulsed through her, vivid and strange. The alien's glow flared briefly, then dimmed again. She realized something terrifying. It was draining itself to guide them, to keep them alive, to ensure humanity could act where the Zenari had failed. We don't run, Lyra said finally, voice firm, resonating through the cabin. We fight, we adapt, we survive. That's what the Zenari couldn't do, they left it to us, and we won't fail. Ryan's eyes met hers, skeptical yet searching for hope. You think we can actually do this? Face the constructs, Zenari patrols, and whatever else the galaxy throws at us? Lyra nodded. I don't think I know. Humans survive where others cannot. We endure, we adapt, we fight. That's our strength. And right now, that strength is all we have between life and annihilation. The freighter shuddered violently. Sensors flashed red. Multiple fast-moving vessels were converging. Zenari patrol ships, sleek and silent, weapons primed. Lyra's pulse accelerated. They were being intercepted. Ryan, take the weapons. I'll handle evasive maneuvers, she commanded. Rian grunted, moving into the gunner station. The alien weakly rose to its knees, glowing faintly. Lyra realized then that it had a choice. Its energy could be used to enhance the freighter's shields, but at the cost of its life. Without thinking, she nodded. Do it, she said. The alien's glow surged, energy flowing into the freighter. Shields flared brightly, flickering but holding. Lyra's hands moved instinctively, weaving the freighter through a deadly dance of lasers and energy pulses. Every maneuver was precise, human intuition against alien technology. The first patrol ship fired. Lyra dodged with a sharp turn while Ryan returned fire. The alien's energy kept them alive, a tether between life and machine. Suddenly, the alien emitted a high-pitched cry. Lyra glanced at it. Its glow was now pale, its body trembling. The Zenari weapon, or knowledge it had protected for centuries, was somehow communicating through it, guiding them, instructing them. It's showing me the path, Lyra whispered, realization dawning. The black systems on the map, they're not just targets. They're the key to stabilizing the galaxy, and it's using itself to guide us there. Ryan's voice shook. You're saying it's sacrificing itself? Lyra nodded, heart tight. No, not sacrificing. Lending us strength, trusting humanity to finish what it started. The freighter surged through the first wave of patrols, but the Zenari ships adapted, coordinating with almost surgical precision. Lyra's fingers flew across the console, each decision razor-sharp. Human creativity, instinct and courage against the cold logic of an alien empire.